I think it's really important to think, what if you had, what if you didn't just have a generic social media, Instagram handle, but what if it said, Michelle O'Connor, follower of Christ at whatever church? I mean, would you still show up? Would you still act the same way? Would you still say the same things, do the same things? If you, everywhere you had to identify yourself, I'm Michelle O'Connor, I'm a follower of Christ, would you still do the things that you're doing? Would it change how you show up?
Yeah. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 125. We are so proud of you for making this investment in your relationship, and we're so glad that you're joining us today. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, Michelle.
125. We are a quarter of the way to the next 100.
Yeah.
Feels like a milestone.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nice.
Because there has been a lot going on in our world. Whatever your alignment is politically, as followers of Christ, we have a responsibility to act in a certain way. So we have a few areas that we are walking through today. And really, this whole show is just based on observations for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
And as this airs, we are getting ready to do a marriage event.
Yeah, super excited.
This Friday. Out in Del Rapids.
Yeah.
At the Celebrate Church plant in Del Rapids. So we're super excited. We're coming for you, Del Rapids. It's going to be a great event talking same team marriage.
Yeah.
Which is the drum that we beat all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited for it.
I am too, Michelle.
Keynote speakers, these guys.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. I'm excited for it. Putting the finishing touches. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Really excited for it.
Yep. And also, I've already told our audio engineer, that I'm going to try to behave myself on today's show, but I have a very 90s vintage look going, and these earrings simply complete my outfit. I have to wear them for the show, but they're also very jangly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
so
there we go.
You're not going to hear that because I'm going to behave myself.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to slow turn when I look at you. I'm going to move my whole body.
Nice.
You're not going to hear me, I promise. Or my jingly bracelet.
Awesome.
All right,
awesome.
Ryan, you wrote today's show. What do you have for us?
Michelle, it's a very simple concept that we want to talk about, but I think it's one that can have a tremendous lasting impact on your marriage. And I would love for you to ask yourself a simple question. How am I showing up in the world? Michelle, you kind of pointed this out. There's a lot of craziness. There's a lot of unease. There's a lot of just really divisiveness that's happening right now. And I know it's kind of a strange question, but I think it's a really important one. See, 2 different times in the book of John, this statement is made. And it starts 17:8. It says, "As you sent me, Jesus, into the world, I also sent them into the world."
And them is?
All of us.
Us.
Right. And
Say that again.
Yeah. So John 17:8 says, "As you sent me, Jesus, into the world, I have also sent them, us, into the world." And then he repeats this in John 20:21. Says, "As the Father has sent me, I also send you." So again, I think it's an important question to answer. How are you showing up in the world? Mm-hmm. Are you showing up as Jesus did in the world?
Yeah, Ryan, I love that question. How am I showing up in the world? And it's not just the old, what would Jesus do? It's really, how am I showing up as a representative of Jesus Christ? Here at Celebrate, we say we want you to meet Jesus and then be Jesus in the community. And that really is every aspect. Ryan, I saw an image the other day on social, and it was a picture of Satan laughing, and he was laughing it was a picture of the church, and people were just on 2 sides, like pointing fingers. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what we do really is being watched, especially now. It's being watched from the outside. And if you are a believer of Christ, you better believe that people know that, and they're watching us as a church, as Christians. And it's just, Ryan, sometimes I see things that are so cringe, like comments on social where people will just spew, and then they'll say, in him, or praying, or something where it's like, okay, but everything you just said before this, like, please tell me, like, you are not representing the gospel right now. You're not acting like a Christian, all that stuff that you said. And then you're throwing this thing out about faith or God or their church. And stuff like that really reflects poorly on all of us and the church, but also Jesus. That's not what he was about.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just have to look at the life of Jesus and look at how he interacted. Look at how he behaved. Because God sent him into the world. He's sending us into the world to act accordingly, to act as if we are Jesus, to act to like you said, Michelle, to be Jesus. And the fact that it was mentioned twice, like in relatively close proximity in the book of John, it really hit me of like, we are being sent out into the world as Jesus was sent into the world.
Ryan, we just did the 21 days of prayer and we went through the book of John, 1 chapter a day. And you, as we were going through it, you brought that up a couple of times. It really hit you the day that you read it. And then you brought it up again and again. So I love that it made it into this show. We have a few areas that we're going to take the listeners through today to just do this self-reflection. Yeah.
And I think, Michelle, on the surface, it's easy to answer, oh yeah, for sure. But like, as you just said, one of these areas, a bonus area here, is how you show up online. Michelle, you pointed this out of like, you can't just be horrendous. And then in the next line say, I'm praying for you.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's just, we are not acting, we are not bringing Jesus into the world.
Yeah, if you're saying something in the name of the church or of Jesus, like it better also reflect, the fruits of the Spirit. It better, reflect the Father who sent the Son. And there's so much of it now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so back to
our checkpoint list.
Our checkpoint list. So the first one that I think is really critical is marriage. How are you showing up? Are you showing the qualities of Jesus in your marriage? And I think the one that jumps out immediately to me is forgiveness. Are you quick to forgive your spouse, or are you like holding things over them? Understand there's big things, but like I'm talking about daily things of like your husband forgot to take out the trash. Like, are you quick to forgive, or are you like constantly just, badgering them and like holding this over them?
Right. We've done a show before where you talked about keeping score. Are you keeping score? Are you harboring that unforgiveness, or are you even just shoving it down, not dealing with it, and knowing that you can deal with it now or you can deal with it later? You're going to deal with it. So you do have to face it. But being quick to work that through with them. It's interesting. So speaking of this marriage event we're doing, we had asked the Pastor Tim, what are the issues facing your congregation that we can go in and talk same team about? Because we can do same team for so many areas, and we've identified 4 areas. But one big one, he said, the biggest thing he said was, unforgiveness in marriage creates so many issues. So whatever you need to do to deal with that, but not harboring that, letting your heart get callous. Because when you do that, then you have so many things that ripple effect out of that. You become closed off. You don't step into intimacy. You really drift. We've done shows on that too. When you're like at a beach and all of a sudden you're in the ocean and you come back out and it's like, oh my gosh, my towel is, half a mile down that way. How do we get so far? It's that slow drift from not making those intentional decisions to have the conversation, to work it out, to forgive.
Yeah.
Clearly there are things that might require longer, if there's trauma or, just unfaithfulness. Certainly those are different things that involve more specialized help, but unforgiveness will separate you, will cause drift.
Yeah, it's a divide. It's a divide in your marriage, and the longer it sits, the bigger that divide will get. And you'll just that's why like we have to be quick to forgive. The other one, Michelle, I just think of like words. Like how are you speaking life? Are you speaking truth in and over your spouse.
Yeah, that's good. Or are you throwing little daggers at them all day long?
I think so much of how Jesus came into the world, and it was so much about speaking life, speaking truth. And are you doing that in your marriage? I think it's a valid thing to look at your communication. How are you communicating?
Yeah. Because if you're continually not speaking life into them and then you're expecting them to show up fully and wholly for your marriage, it could be because you're continually beating them down.
Yeah.
It's hard to show up.
Even your tone and are you yelling at your spouse constantly? Like that.
Belittling them.
Yeah. These are all things that we just have to take a look at and ask, am I showing up in my marriage as Jesus did?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Ryan, the second area is parenting. How are you showing up to the world as it relates to parenting? How are you showing up to your kids? We think about Jesus and the disciples. How many times did they do things where Jesus was just in the boat shaking his head like, I can't believe these idiots did this, but he showed them patience. He didn't blow up. It's not, we see kind of a righteous anger in the temple when he's flipping over the tables, but you don't see him. You just see him talk sternly, but you don't see him just rage or blowing up at his disciples. He showed them patience and kindness. He pointed them back to scripture, and he tried to help them to make sense of things. He gave them kind and gentle instructions, corrections when they needed it. Just coming off of the book of John, there's so much that he did to explain to them and teach them and foreshadow. And I just think about our kids. You guys, they're kids. They don't know. Some things we think they should know, but really, they're babies. And maybe it's because we have a 10-year-old and we also have a 20-year-old. So for us, it's easy to look and say, oh gosh, in the grand scheme of things, he's just so little. A lot of it's just patiently explaining, letting things roll over our shoulders that truly don't make a difference, laughing at the small things, and just finding joy in the journey of him becoming who he is.
Yeah.
And for our daughter too, it's just trying to see things in the scope of the bigger picture. Do these things that we're mad about on a daily basis, do they really matter? They don't. What's that thing? Will this matter in a minute, 5 minutes, 5 hours a day, whatever it is, it's to that effect. But will this thing matter in 5 minutes? Maybe, yeah. Will it matter in a day? Probably not. Will it matter in a year? No. So just gauge your response on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Michelle, I think it's hilarious as we think about the disciples. And obviously, we're looking at this from the past. So, we can look at this. We know how the story ends, right? Yeah. They didn't know. And, sometimes you're like, oh, why are you asking these questions? What? What are you doing? And I think oftentimes our kids are doing the same. They're trying to understand because they don't know. And, I'm sure you've all been around a child that just asks a million questions. It's because they don't know.
Right.
And they're trying to make sense of it in their heads. And so they just keep asking questions. And you may think, oh my goodness, another question. And I'm sure Jesus was probably like, dudes, I've already told you.
Probably.
But he didn't say that. He didn't come out like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah. Ryan, I feel like one of the things that we've done really well with our kids is giving them space to explore and ask those questions and not shaming them for it.
Yeah.
So we've never just shut down their trails of questions. And I feel like especially with our son, he does ask a lot of questions, but it's led to really good conversations now, even world events, why is this happening? Why is that? He'll ask us anything. And we have really open, honest, candid conversations at an age-appropriate level, but we point him back to scripture. We talk about a lot about, hey, yeah, this is happening, but we believe in loving people, all people. People are created in God's image, and here's how we're going to show up and treat people. And it's just some really good stuff, but he feels safe and insecure in that pathway. Kind of going back to, our interview with Kevin Thompson about secure pathways. I feel like our son feels secure in his relationship with us, that he can ask those questions and get honest, biblical, truthful answers. And that's how he learns and processes about the world.
Right. Yeah, as a lot of kids do, and I think it's important to have that patience to show up as Jesus and welcome them in and let them ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a, I don't know, try to have perspective with them too and just see the bigger picture. Like truly going back to that, some of the little things just don't matter. And you're in the season for such a short time that just embrace some of it too.
Yeah.
You know, I think
absolutely.
That mentality has helped us to parent a little more gracefully.
Yeah. I mean, I think of Jesus showing up in the world. He knew what his mission was. He knew what was number one. And, I think sometimes that's where like you let all these little things kind of grab you and pull you, but if we can focus on the main thing,
yeah,
we won't be pulled by that.
Yeah.
Michelle, the last one here is sort of an interesting one, but just how are you showing up as a person? How are you showing up as a person in the world? We touched on this. Like, we live in a crazy world right now. There's so much hatred, so much division in the world. And I think it's important as followers of Christ to answer the question, if we are showing up in the world just as Jesus did. So continuing the book of John 3:17 states that God sent Jesus into the world to save it, not to condemn it. And I think so much of that, goes back to this. We have the ability to show light into this world. We have the ability to bring love, to bring light, to bring healing into the world. And it's just a question, I guess, are we doing it? Are we showing up in the world as Jesus did, as a person?
Yeah. Ryan, you said something the other day, or maybe you didn't say it. I feel like you did. Maybe I saw it online, but it said more than waking up and thinking, I'm this party or this party. We need to really think about, I'm a follower of Christ and that's how I'm going to live out my life today.
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Yeah. It was about, it was about values, right? Like we have an obligation, I believe, to follow our God-given like the values that we believe as followers of Christ take precedent over anything else.
That's a good word. Yeah.
And I think if we can follow that, if we can ask ourselves this question, how am I showing up in the world? Because Jesus was sent in the world. He's sending us into the world.
Yeah.
How are we showing up?
That's full circle, right? With the scripture you read at the beginning, as you sent me into the world, I also have sent them into the world.
Yeah.
Jesus sent us into the world. So the next time you're making a comment or a post or an action, I think it's really important to think, what if you had, what if you didn't just have a generic social media, Instagram handle, but what if it said, Michelle O'Connor, follower of Christ at whatever church? I mean, would you still show up? Would you still act the same way? Would you still say the same things, do the same things? If you, everywhere you had to identify yourself, I'm Michelle O'Connor, I'm a follower of Christ, would you still do the things that you're doing? Would it change how you show up?
Yeah.
What if you just wore a t-shirt all the time that said follower of Christ?
Yeah.
Maybe we would double think, about some of the things that we say and do.
And I'm a firm believer, Michelle, in how you show up somewhere is how you show up everywhere. And so, it's just a question of how are we showing up, because it does impact. It does impact every part of your life. If you're online, being mean to people.
Anonymously, that's a hard word. It's not anonymous, right? You're planting negative seeds, or planting seeds of sinful seeds in your heart that are taking root.
But it will impact your marriage. It will impact you as a parent.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Like there's not a distinction.
Yeah.
Like and that, that goes to work. That goes to wherever you show up.
Yeah.
Is how you will show up everywhere.
I love that. I know that you've shared this before, that I have a barista ministry and I have all these different ministries that I do because I really, when I show up at places, I see people. I don't see you as a coffee making robot. I see you as a person created in the image of Jesus Christ, and you're a human being. And I'm going to see that and recognize that. But that's how I talk to people online. That's how I talk to people everywhere, vendors. Just this week, I started a phone call and I just said, hey, I just showed compassion for a situation. And I really, I told my employer, I was like, I feel like we just need to see them as humans first and foremost. And so I agree, how you show up in one area really does spill out and carry over everywhere. How you show up at home, work, online, with your friends. You can kid yourself that, oh, this is just with these friends. But like Ryan said, it impacts you.
Yeah.
It will impact other areas and flow through.
Absolutely.
And impact your marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Ryan, do you want to recap this list?
Yeah. So just going back, Michelle, I'm going to read the scripture just one more time because I think it's really, it's really had an impact on me. So John 17:8 says, as you sent me, Jesus, into the world, I have sent them into the world. John 20:21 says, as the Father has sent me, I also send you. And so again, it's just asking ourselves, how are we showing up? How are we showing up in these different areas of your life? Maybe there's one we didn't talk about, but asking that question of just running it through that filter.
How are you showing up in your marriage? How are you showing up in your parenting? And how are you showing up as a person to the world?
Yeah.
Ryan, great show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
love.
Michelle. Yeah.
You're such a great writer. Thank
Thank you.
We have not done this forever.
No.
Do you guys know what time it is? Cue the song, Patrick. It's the mystery
question time. Wow.
Bum.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
Ryan,
excited for this. Do you want
I'm
me to
excited.
read it?
Yeah, you read it. I don't even know where these questions came from.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
What's your favorite ordinary moment you've shared this past week?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to start singing. We were just listening to that song.
We were
Ordinary.
just singing that song.
Da, 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 da. I was like, every now and then you just need a good melancholic song to get hooked on. Okay, read it again. What's your ordinary moment?
What's your favorite ordinary moment you've shared this past week?
I don't know that this is, I wouldn't say this is ordinary, but it is routine. I really like coming to church as a family.
Yeah.
I don't want to downplay it. It's not, coming to church is not ordinary. It's just routine. It's something we do every single week, but I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like our time driving to and from church. Even the podcasts, they're just routine things that maybe seem ordinary or regular, but I really enjoy these rhythms of our week.
Yeah.
Our habits. What about you?
Yeah, Michelle, I'm going to say this. This is...
Sounds like you have a word coming for
Well,
us.
no, it's been a special time for me because so Michelle started a new job. Mm-hmm. A new full-time job.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize it'd been this long. I haven't been full-time for probably 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
I think it might be closer to 9.
Yeah. So in that 9 years, we typically, I go into work early. And so we typically haven't had a lot of time in the mornings together. Mm-hmm. Usually I'm gone before anybody else wakes up.
And I'm sleeping.
And you're, but it's
not like it's sleeping late, just until I need to get up to take Thomas to school.
Right.
But you're up really early.
Right. And what's been really great of just an ordinary moment is getting to see you in the mornings. Getting to see your smiling face in the morning.
Thanks, love.
I've really enjoyed that change.
And I worked really hard to shift my Bible reading habit from night to morning. So a lot of times you'd come back in the room and then I'd have the lamp on and I'd be up reading.
Yeah.
I felt really good about that too.
Yeah,
it was fun
absolutely.
to see you. Yeah, thanks, love. That's really sweet. Thank you. You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As always, we have marriage resources at Celebrate.church/marriage. You can find our location and watch online at Celebrate.church. And we hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.